Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chess King, and today we are going to see a wonderful match played between alekhine versus poindle. This match was gone on a Ruy Lopez opening, and alekhine played a very great combinations and tricks in the Ruy Lopez. So let's start over here. The match starts e4, e5, and knight to f3, and knight to c6, and bishop to b5, the strongest move on the board. This move shows the Ruy Lopez opening, but in the opponent he's played knight to f6. The modern opening shows that we have to check the intentions of this bishop. What does bishop want by playing on s6 over here? By playing on s6 over here. So after knight to f6, white castles over here. After castling, you can see that black can capture this pawn. Lasker said the line actually. When you are conscious not to have violated the rules laid down, you should accept the sacrifice of an important central pawn. If you don't, as a rule, the pawn which you have rejected will become a very troublesome to you. So for this view, his opponent captured this knight cross e4, and we have a very good move over here, that is d4. Here, white attacking the pawn on e5 by his knight and his by pawn, and he's opening his bishop's line and queen line over here, getting a lot of benefits by playing d4. And his opponent played a knight to d6 and d cross e5. Here, white giving a piece, but he is ready to gain regain his piece over here. And if black tries to take this knight cross a4, we have a very good move, that is, can you find it, that is a4. Here you can see that black knight has trapped over here. He cannot move anywhere. If he tried any move, then he is going to be lost his piece. So his opponent now become that is going to lose his piece. So he's played knight to d6, and after e cross d6, here black has two choices. If he try to take this pawn by c cross d7, then is going to be get a dual pawn in the opening. But on the other hand, if you try to take this pawn by bishop cross e7, he's blocked his bishop, white color bishop, and try to become very inactive this piece. So after bishop to d6, black is not happy over here by recapturing this. And over here alekhine played a very attacking move, that is knight to g5 over here. After knight to g5, black cannot castle over here. If black does a castle, then he become in a very trouble, because after castle white can play queen to d3, and after this is the fourth move that he has to play, that is g6, and after queen to h3 he has to play h5. And you can see that he has a 3 pawn structure, which is totally bad for black. And after queen to d3, if you try to play f5, then this is a very worse for black, because after queen to d5 and king to h8 and knight to f7 check, he's going to be lost his rook over here and exchange up. So after knight to g5, he has to play he has played actually bishop to e7. After playing bishop to e7, and white has a very dashing move that has played in the match, that is queen to h5. This obvious threat of a mate on f7, so it has to be protected by something else. He can play in the match, he played d6. If you try something else like bishop cross g6, then it is going to be worse for you, because after bishop cross g5 and knight to e7 and rook to e1, we are winning a piece over here. So you cannot play bishop cross g5. He has to play that is only move, that is g6. And over here white plays queen to h6. You can see that after queen to h6, he is attacking to come on g7 and try to attack this rook over here, in simply to win this h7 pawn when rook comes to on f8. So after queen to h6, black has played over here bishop to f8. Here you cannot play. If you try to play something else except this bishop, like bishop cross g5, then bishop cross g5 and f6 and queen to g7, rook to f8 and rook to e1 check and knight to e7 and bishop to s6 and rook to f7, and there is a checkmate into because queen to g8 check, rook to f8 and queen cross f8 is just a checkmate. So after queen to s6 and bishop to f8, in the match he had played bishop to f8 and rook to e1 check over here. Again you can see that in the match he had played knight to e7. If you try to play like bishop to e7, then this is going to be worse for you because knight to h7 and d5, and after queen on f8 check and rook f8 and knight to f6 is just a checkmate over here. So you after rook to e1 you cannot play bishop to e7. You have to play, that is knight to e7. This is a force move that he has to play over here. After knight to e7 he had played knight to e4, threatening to mate on f6 over here. You can see that black cannot move his king anywhere. So after knight to e4 he had played f5. If black tries to recapture this queen over here, then there is a mate because after knight to f6 check and king to f8 and bishop cross s6 is just a checkmate over here. His king cannot move anywhere. So after knight to e4 he cannot take his queen. He has to play, that is f5, making a space for his king over here. And after this f5, white got his very attacking piece, that is knight to f6 check, dragging his king out to the board, and he has to only move, that is king to f7 over here, and black plays queen to h4, try to protect his queen, and black over here has lots of possibilities, but there are only one possibilities that he has to play. Otherwise if he played any wrong move, then it's going to be worse over here. In the match he had played bishop to g7, or except bishop to g7 over here. If you try to play like knight to g8, then this is going to be worse for you over here, because after knight to g8 we have a queen to c4 check, and you can see that here king has two possibilities, king to g7 and king to f6. So what king can play, king to g7 or king to f6? If you play like king to g7, then knight to e8 check, and he has to, and king cannot move anywhere, so he has to give his queen and rook take queen, winning a queen, and we can easily win this match. So he cannot play king to g7. He has to take this, sorry, he has to take this knight over here. So after taking the knight we have a very good move, that is queen to h4 check. If a king's move anywhere, then he's going to be lost his queen, or if you try to play g5, then bishop cross g5. Again this is move simple, shows that he's going to lose his queen over here. So after queen to h4 there is only one move that he has to play, and that move was played in the match, that is bishop to g7, attacking to the knight over here, and white plays bishop to g5. You can see that after playing bishop to g5 black had played h6, and if except h6, if you try to play again knight to g8, then this will become disaster for you, because knight to g8 and queen to g8 and rook to e7 check and king to f8, and we have a very great combination, that is bishop to h6, try to mate on f6 over here. So his bishop is pinned, his bishop cannot move, and we can simply put our queen on f6. So after bishop to g5 he has played h6, try to attack on his bishop. So after h6 he had played queen to c4 check over here, and if you try to play like d5 move, then this will be worse for you, because after knight cross d5 and queen cross d5 and after rook to e7 check and king to f8, you're going to lose your queen. Or over here after d5 and knight cross d5. If you try to take this knight by your knight, then you're going to lose your queen over here by simply taking the bishop. So after queen to c4, he has to go only one move, that is king to f8. So you can see that his king is dancing on the board. So there is a checkmate and few moves I will show you. After king to f8, he has played rook to e7, giving his rook for some tactical play over here. After rook to e7, you cannot say that you can see that he cannot take this one by king, otherwise he is going to be knight to d5 check and king to e8 and bishop cross d8 winning a queen. Or after, if you try to take this one by queen to e7, actually this move was played in the match after queen to e7 and knight to s7, again attacking a queen and also at same time to the king. This is check on knight cross s7, and after rook cross h7, and we have a good move, that is bishop to e7. He lost his queen on the move number 20 over here. After king cross e7 and queen to c7, here white is going to win very easily, but there are some tactical line that he was played in the match that we have to see over here. After queen cross c7, you can see that he can also win by playing queen to g8, but he has not played this move, and king to f6, queen cross s7 and king to f6 and knight to c3, simply developing the piece, and he has lots of piece to play over here. So he has not seen this move and he has played queen cross c7. After queen cross c7 and bishop cross b2, rook to a2 and bishop to f6 and c4 over here, and king to f7 and rook to e2, bringing his piece on to play over here. After rook to e2, his opponent played rook to h8 to play on rook to e8, but after queen to d6 and f5, try to stop this pawn and try to bring his rook for attacking his queen over here. And knight to c3, you can see that black cannot take this knight over here. This move was very good over here on the board, because if queen takes, then there will be a checkmate in few moves like bishop cross c3 and rook cross e7, king f8 and rook cross d7 and king g8 and queen to d5 check and king to f8 and queen to f7 is just a checkmate. So taking knight will be blunder or going to be lost the match over here. So he had played rook to a6 attacking to his queen and queen to d5 check and king to g7 and knight to b5, trying to bring his knight on d6, but over here he had played rook to e6 attacking to the rook on e2, and we have a very good move, that is knight to d6. He cannot take this rook, otherwise there is a mate in 1 over here by playing queen to f7. So he has to play another move, that is he had played king to rook to d8, and we have a good move. We have to protect our rook by playing king to f1, and after h5, and you can see that after king to f1, black resigns over here because there is nothing to play. If we try to play like h5 or something else, then we have a very great combination. Can you find it, that combination? That is knight cross c8 and rook cross c8 and queen to d7 check, attacking to the both rook at the same time. So rook to e7 and rook cross e7 and bishop cross e7 and queen cross c7 is just a winning for white. So there are lots of tactical line we have seen in the Ruy Lopez opening, and a great combination that will learn you to improve in your match. So thank you for watching my video, and please like, share and comment to my channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.